Everything you learned today is already draining away on a schedule one man mapped to the second. Read that schedule, and you can do something strange to it. Rewrite it. Nobody had ever done that before. You could feel yourself forgetting, sure, but no one had put a number on it, on how fast, on what curve, on whether forgetting even has a shape. He decided to find out, using the only instrument he trusted completely, himself. His name was Hermann Ebbinghaus. The year was 1879. No laboratory, no subjects, no funding. Just a man, a clock, and a stack of syllables engineered to mean absolutely nothing. The nonsense was the point. Real words come loaded with meaning, associations that make them easier to keep. Ebbinghaus wanted memory stripped bare, so he built lists of invented syllables. Consonant, vowel, consonant. Meaningless by design. He read each list aloud at 150 beats a minute, metronome fast, until he could recite it twice without a slip. Then he stopped and let time do its work. Later, minutes, hours, or days later, he relearned the same list and measured one thing only: how much time he saved the second round. Less relearning meant more had survived. He called it the method of savings. Before I show you what he found, guess. You learned something cold today. How much is gone in an hour? By tomorrow? Most people picture a cliff. Hold that picture, because the real shape is what you'll learn to rewrite. Because you've almost certainly seen the answer already. A smooth curve on a slide, plunging toward the floor, with clean round numbers printed along the way. 50% forgotten in an hour, 70% by the next day, 90% within a week. Here's the problem. None of those numbers appear anywhere in Ebbinghaus's book. And it gets stranger. His curve doesn't even measure how much you remember. Savings is relearning time, a stopwatch running on effort saved, not a percentage of memories kept. The most famous chart in memory science is mislabeled. So here's what he actually recorded. After about 20 minutes, 58% saved. After 1 hour, 44. After a full day, 34% still held. Those are the real figures. Now look at the shape, because this is where the myth breaks. The steepest loss is in the very first hour. After that, the line keeps falling, but slower and slower still. Across the month he measured, it never quite reaches zero. What actually decays is the rate of forgetting itself. Watch the tail end. 34% at 1 day, 25% at 6 days, 21% at a full month. Weeks pass, and the line barely moves at all. And notice, the original curve is just 7 points. Every smooth, continuous line you've ever seen drawn over them is a reconstruction. Ebbinghaus's own formula, sketched by eye. The plateau, not the plunge, was his real discovery. Now the objection you should be forming. This is one man, testing himself. On garbage syllables, he invented precisely so they'd be meaningless. That is not a biology lecture, or Spanish vocabulary, or anything you actually care about. It's rote memorization of noise, with a sample size of 1. And that objection is completely fair. Ebbinghaus raised it himself. He called his own results special, individual, and uncertain. Savings isn't recall. Nonsense isn't a course you understand. For more than a century, whether the curve meant anything real stayed an open question. Until 2011, 2 researchers at the University of Amsterdam decided to run the whole thing again. Exactly. Same nonsense syllables, same savings measure. One of them, Jory Dross, serving as the sole subject. They didn't cut corners. 70 lists, 104 syllables on each. Roughly 70 hours of pure learning spread across 3 months. If the original was a fluke, this is where it would fall apart. It didn't. The same curve came back. At 20 minutes, Ebbinghaus had saved 58%. 135 years later, Dross saved 47. Set Ebbinghaus's series beside Dross's replication, and the authors called the resemblance, in their word, Remarkable. But the replication also caught something Ebbinghaus had only ever suspected. One point on the curve refused to keep falling. It did the opposite. At 9 hours, savings had dropped to 28%, right on schedule. But at 24 hours, it rose back up to 32. The line bumped upward overnight. The most likely explanation, sleep, consolidating what the waking day had loosened. And here's the eerie part. Ebbinghaus had flagged that exact point back in 1885. He called his 24-hour value somewhat too large. It just didn't fit the smooth decline. He was right to be suspicious. Your memory isn't only draining. Overnight, sleep reorganizes it, handing a piece back. The anomaly he distrusted was a real signal, buried in the noise for a century. So set them side by side, 1885 and 2015. One subject each, a century and a half apart, and the same curve rises up out of the data. This is not a textbook myth. The forgetting curve is real, and it is regular. And regular is the word that matters, because regular means predictable. If the decline is that consistent, you don't just know that you'll forget. You know roughly when, the moment the curve is about to drop out from under you. Which brings us to the real question. If your brain runs this deletion on a fixed schedule, are you simply stuck with it? Doomed to reload the same material over and over forever? Here is the reversal. The schedule is not carved in stone. Ebbinghaus mapped the shape of forgetting. A separate line of research shows what bends it. Every time you effortfully pull something back out of memory, not reread it, but drag it up from nothing, you rewrite the curve. Recall lifts the line back up and flattens the decline that comes next. The forgetting afterward runs slower. So you exploit the schedule in two moves. First, because it's predictable, you review right as the curve begins to fade. Not the same day when recall is still easy, not weeks late when it's already gone. Second, because it's modifiable, that one effortful review does the rest. It flattens the next stretch of forgetting. Repeat that, and each dip gets shallower than the one before, and the safe gaps between reviews stretch wider and wider. The problem became the tool. The very slide that erases you is now what you exploit. That pattern already has a name. It's called spacing, and it is exactly why spacing beat every other study method in the last video. Take the reading. Why does spacing your reviews out actually work? What is each successful recall doing to the curve? Say it out loud before the line moves. Which leaves exactly one number still missing. The curve proves that reviewing works. It does not tell you when to do it. That precise timetable, the optimal gap before each review, delay by delay in days, is the next video. Your brain deletes on a schedule. That schedule is measurable, and it is yours to rewrite. The forgetting was never the failure. It was always the instrument. Remember, hard by design.